Good afternoon, Anne Arundel County. Good afternoon, America. Welcome to Promoting Community Conversation and Discovery. I'm your host, Anthony Bynum. The name of our production company is the Glen Burnie Players. These are exciting times in Anne Arundel County. Exciting times. In fact, we're going to address that in upcoming events in a moment. Part of the reason why it's so exciting. Yeah, a little bit of precipitation, but the weather's still been generally very, very nice. Nothing to complain about as far as I'm concerned. So upcoming events, yes, tomorrow, the Lithicum Fair. So they start gathering or mustering at the elementary school, the Lindale Elementary School. And they march down. They got all kinds of people marching down, marching bands and folks and the Mayor of Lithicum, whoever that's going to be, all marching down, right? Ease on down the road. I think it's Stephanie Williams. But there's some other stuff going on too in the world of theater. The 26th and 27th, Brigadoon is playing live at the Arts Center in Maryland. Live Arts, I think is what it's called. But I read a little bit about this, what this is about. Brigadoon apparently is about somebody who falls asleep and wakes up in a Scottish fictional fantasy. That sounds interesting. That sounds interesting. What if they play some golf? I don't know. But also, starting on the 25th, so it started on Thursday, I guess, and it'll run till the 19th of October, is Annie. It's playing at the Compass Rose Theater, also in Annapolis. If you get the opportunity, get on down. And you get on down. No, I'm saying, check it out. uh, well, we want to thank the people that you a shout out for the people who air community conversation and discovery. So we start off right here in Anne Arundel County with AAC TV. Thank you for airing our shows. But there's also PG County Cable Access. They call it Gates. It's in Greenbelt. Thank you for airing our shows. We got Amherst Media in Amherst, Massachusetts. Thank you for airing our shows. Manhattan Neighborhood Network in the Big Apple. Thank you for airing our shows. And of course, Brunswick TV3 in Maine. Thank you for airing our shows. References. We cannot do the show without these folks. So we start off with Wikipedia, Google Images, and this week, Arts Council of Anne Arundel County. All right, let's start off with most admired. So we're going to get back to my roots. My roots are in sports, right? My first love in life. So this guy was really good. His name, Billy Cunningham. He's still with us. He was born 6/3, 1943. I make a case that Billy Cunningham is part of basketball royalty, and you're going to see why when we connect the dots. So in college, I believe, it might have been high school, he developed the name of the Kangaroo Kid because he was such a great leaper. And that name Kangaroo, it would indicate not only a great leaper, but he got off the ground quickly. He was an incredible rebounder. So he grew up in the Parkville section of Brooklyn. His father was a fireman. He played at St. Rose of Lima. Again, that's a Catholic school, obviously. In uh, 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 Erasmus Hall High. Those are probably both Catholic schools. And the Catholics love their sports, right? It's no secret. This guy was All-American. In fact, he was recruited by Frank McGuire, who had won a college NCAA championship at North Carolina. But here's what happened. By the time that Billy gets there, Frank had left for a job coaching the who? Philadelphia 76ers. So he never played for him because in those days, freshmen didn't play varsity. So he started his varsity career with another young coach named Dean Smith. He is basketball royalty, connected from the beginning. From the beginning, went to Kansas, played under uh, was it Adolph? He didn't play for Adolph Rupp. He played for another guy. I'll get back to you on that. Who was directly connected to um, Dr. Naismith himself. But let me go forward on this deal with Billy. So his greatest move was not on the basketball court. His greatest move came off the basketball court. So here's what happened. I know the story well. Early on, Dean was the guys weren't the team was not playing well, and they came back from one especially disastrous road trip where they were just getting beat up by everybody. And so the student body was in an uproar. Remember, they won a national championship just a few years before, I think 3, 4 years before, and they were used to a certain amount of excellence. And the bus driver comes up where they normally park on this big old tree, but in that big old tree, Coach Dean Smith had been hung in effigy. The student body was out of control, and there was a moment of shock, quiet, and then Billy said, "Get me off this bus." And he got off the bus and he tore that effigy of the coach down. And then all of a sudden, the team starts to play better. And they play better. And we know the rest. We know about all those Final Fours. And we know about all those ACC championships. And we know about those 2 NCAA championships. We know about all that stuff and all the great players that came through there. Tons of them. I'm way before Michael Jordan. There's just tons and tons of great players. He was an incredible recruiter. But this isn't about the great Dean Smith. This is about Billy Cunningham. Let's go forward. Again, this guy was an incredible rebounder. And 3 years in North Carolina, he averaged 15.4 rebounds a game. This guy's 6'7". He's not huge. He's 6'7", 6'6" maybe. Not huge. He's not some giant, but he was an incredible athlete. He averaged 24 points a game at North Carolina. So anyway, people know who this guy is. He's the first round draft pick by the Philadelphia 76ers. I think he's like 3 or 4, something like that. And of course, they had to play and get past the Boston Celtics, the Bill Russell Boston Celtics. So it took a couple of years. But in 67, it was their year. And Billy, who made a name for himself as a sixth man, helped Wilt get his first NBA championship in the city of brotherly love. Brotherly love, get their first NBA championship. Well, from there, he might have hung around for another year or so. But he ends up going to the ABA to play for a guy who had been a teammate of his named Larry Brown, a great, great NBA coach. And he was there for a couple of years, and then something happened. There was some sort of legal controversy. He sued to get out of his contract. Didn't quite work. He had to stay there. And he doesn't come back to the NBA until 1973-74. Well, 9 years later, at some point in time, injuries will catch up with everybody. But he hung around for a little bit and he retires. And in fact, in 2021, he was voted one of the top 75 greatest players in the NBA history. But there's more to the story. There's more to the story. You see, the Sixers had the first year Dr. J came over from the ABA. The first year he's with the Sixers, they go to the NBA Finals and they get beaten in 6 games. The series got away from them. They get beaten 6 games, but they don't get back to the NBA Finals again. And then for a while, then in 77, he takes over for Gene Shue, who had coached the team. And they get to 3 NBA championships up against the Lakers and Kareem and Magic. But finally, in 82-83 season, they win the NBA championship. So he is an NBA champion as a player and as a coach. I'm not sure who can say that. I mean, guys can be champions at both levels, but for the same team you played for, that's amazing. There probably are some other guys like that, but it's got to be a small list. If you look at it from all the major sports, baseball, football, basketball, hockey, it can't be but 8 or 9 guys. I doubt it's even that many. It's probably less, like 5, but I don't actually know. But I want to talk about royalty. I want to talk about NBA royalty. Look at the guys he's connected with. Of course, Dean Smith. We already talked about Dean, right? Dick McGuire. Like I said, Dick McGuire coached at all levels, and he won an NCAA championship. Dr. J, my favorite basketball player of all time, won one NBA championship, two ABA championships. Larry Brown. Larry Brown was a great NBA coach. He won wherever he went. He won wherever he went. I think his last foray was with the Sixers with Allen Iverson, got them to an NBA Finals. San Antonio, he was with them. He's the guy who brought on Coach Popovic. So yeah, another guy, Moses Malone, first player drafted right out of high school. Took Moses a little while to figure it out, but he was a dominating center for many, many years in the league. How about Bobby Jones? Could have been Billy's younger brother. They played the same position. Bobby Jones is a great defender. Had great teams at North Carolina. And then in the league, matter of fact, as a rookie year, he was on the Denver Nuggets team that played the Nets for the NBA championship. Wins an NBA championship with Dr. J. And I guess, again, I think he was a sixth man. You got to embrace it. You got to embrace it. You know what happens when you become you're the basic six-man second string. You're up against the other teams, and so other teams second stringers. And so if you dominate there, you give your team an advantage. You go into the first half, 2-point game, but because you play so many minutes in the second quarter, all of a sudden your team's up by 7 or 8 points because you're dominating your position. You're the other team's replacement. Mo Cheeks. He went to a school in Texas, like West Texas, something or other. He was a great NBA point guard, a great NBA point guard. And then he's in the coaching realm too. So these are all guys that I know, all heroes of mine at a certain point, all of them. So yeah, I make a case that Billy Cunningham is NBA royalty. Yes, I make it. Okay, so hats off to Billy, of course. But let's move on. Let's go ahead and move on. We want to talk about something of consequence regarding Anne Arundel County. I want to talk about the Bay County Veterinary Hospital. They're located at 1197 General's Highway rather, and that's in Crownsville, Maryland. So what I want to do before I want to go to their site so you can just kind of see it. Okay. I guess that's the site. Well, they offer great customer service. They have to in that business. They keep great records. They have an accreditation by the American Animal Hospital Association. They've had it since 1987. I think they've been around since 1975. I think that's what I read somewhere. They offer online pharmacy, how-to videos, pet health library, vaccinations, comprehensive medical, physical exam for your pet, not for you. But they've been around a while. I thought I read, but I guess I was wrong about that. I thought I read. Looks like they also have. No, that must be somebody else. Is this the website right here? Well, that's how they have. Okay, so we're gonna stop the share, and I want to talk about. I want to wrap this thing up. And I was thinking, what makes sense? What's a nice common thread? And I thought about it. I said, well, what about this? Famous songs about guys named Bill. So we got Don't Mess with Bill by the Marvelettes, 60s song. That song, I remembered it now. It said, Don't mess with Bill, better leave him alone. Don't mess with Bill. Another one of these really cool girl groups from the 60s. How about this one? I'm Just a Bill by Schoolhouse Rock. I'm just a bill on Capitol Hill. Da, 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 Boy, those guys were good. I think there were two of them. They were sick. I don't know this other one, Brother Bill by Louis Armstrong. I'm not familiar with that one. But I do know this next one. Ode to Billy Joe. It was written by Bobby Gentry in 1967, but it was sang by Bobby Gentry. I think it was sung by a woman. Maybe that is Bobby Gentry, but they spell it with a Y here. But that's the one that says, Billy Joe McAllister jumped off the Tallahassee Bridge. Um, my favorite though, my favorite is this last one. Billy, don't be a hero. They say Bo Donaldson wrote the thing. I thought the name of the group was Paper Lace, but maybe Bo Donaldson's part of Paper Lace. But the lines go, Billy, don't be a hero, don't be a fool with your life. It's a great song. It's a great song. They also did, and not the song is named Bill, but they also did uh The Night Chicago Died, which is another great song. And they had another song called Hitching a Ride. And I guess they just fell apart. I don't know. That was a great group. I remember those guys, 74, 75. They were like always on the radio. But this is about songs about guys named Bill. And there's another one, I think I can't remember it right now. Well, in either case, I think I made my case, right? Songs, famous songs about guys named Bill. So we have so much going on, folks. I got the rough draft of episode, I think it's episode 19, Community Conversation and Discovery. So we're going to work on some edits. We should be able to get that one out soon. I keep hearing that The Adventures of Our is done. We were doing some tweaks. What our plan there, folks, I might as well just go ahead and mention this now. Our plan is we have a new YouTube channel. It's devoted just to animation. So for that, Bertha, we're going to have just animated versions, cartoon versions, what we're calling them. We're going to try to blow this thing up a little bit if we can. So for everyone here at the Glenburnie Players, again, if you get the opportunity, stop on by tomorrow, the Ferndale Lithicum Parade. For everyone here at the Glenburnie Players, again, my name is Anthony Bynum. Until next time.